Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into a pretty essential piece of kit for home theater setups, the WolfPack 4K 1x2 HDMI 2.0 splitter. It's got this thing called 8-mode ED management.
Right. And our mission really is to unpack what that means. How does this little box solve those really common, frustrating connection problems you get with PCs or media centers?
Exactly. Because it's not just about splitting one signal into two, there's more going on under the hood, especially with that EDID feature.
Definitely. It's all about managing the data, the signal integrity. And, for what it does, the price point, around $50, is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, quite accessible. Okay, let's start with the basics, though. Why is HDMI 2.0 and HDCP 2.2 compliance such a big deal now? What happens if you, try using an older splitter for 4K stuff?
Well, that's the core issue, isn't it? If you grab an old HDMI 1.4 splitter, sure, you might get 4K, but you're stuck at maybe 24 or 30 frames per second.
Which looks kind of jerky, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you're limited to 8-bit color. HDMI 2.0 bumps that bandwidth way up. We're talking 18 gigabits per second, this WolfPack. It makes sure you get the full 3840 by 2160 picture at a smooth 60 hertz.
Okay, so smooth motion. And the color part, it supports HDR, high dynamic range, and these advanced color standards like BT 2020 with 10-bit color or more. What does 10-bit mean for someone actually watching a movie?
It's a huge difference visually. See, 8-bit gives you about 16 million colors. Sounds like a lot, but on subtle gradients, think a blue sky or a sunset, you can actually see banding, like distinct steps in the color.
Right, those weird lines.
Yeah, 10-bit color gives you over 1 billion colors, so that banding, gone. You get
Yeah.
much richer, deeper, more nuanced images. Basically what your fancy 4K TV was actually built to display.
Got it. So that higher bandwidth, that HDMI 2.0, is really non-negotiable for quality these days. Now let's talk about the headaches, the connectivity chaos.
The EGE problem.
Right, say you have a new 4K player going to the splitter and then out to, I don't know, a brand new 4K TV in one room and maybe an older 1080p screen in another. What usually happens?
Often you get a black screen on one, or maybe both displays default to the lowest common resolution, like 1080p,
Right.
or just nothing works.
And that's the EDID failure.
That's typically it. EDID, Extended Display Identification Data. It's like a digital handshake. The source, like your Roku or Blu-ray player, asks the display, hey, what can you do? What resolution? What audio?
Okay.
But when you add splitters or switches or extenders, especially with mixed resolution displays, that handshake can easily fail. The source gets confused, doesn't get the right info, and either plays it safe with a basic signal or just gives up.
So how does this specific splitter with its 8-mode EDID management fix that mess? This sounds like the key feature.
It absolutely is. It basically lets you take control of that handshake. Instead of relying on the devices to figure it out automatically, which often fails, you use these little physical DIP switches on the unit to tell it what EDID information to use.
Ah, like manual override.
Precisely. There are 8 different modes. For instance, you can set the switches. It's like X000 in the manual to tell the splitter. Just copy the EDID info from whatever is plugged into output 1 and send that back to the source.
So if output 1 has your best 4K TV, the source thinks it's only talking to that capable display.
Exactly.
But
it forces the source to output the best possible signal based on that primary display. Or you could choose another setting like X-Center, which forces a specific output like 4K at 60 hertz.
assuming both displays can handle it, of course.
Right. Or another setting, X11011, forces 1080p with 5.1 channel audio. It gives you options to find something that works reliably for your specific setup, rather than hoping the auto negotiation works.
That seems incredibly useful for troubleshooting.
It is. And there's another benefit too, signal integrity. HDMI signals weaken over distance. This splitter actually regenerates the signal.
Ah, like a booster.
Sort of, yeah. It cleans it up and boosts it. So if you have a longer HDMI 2.0 cable run, maybe 20 feet for 1080p, or even up to 25 feet for 4K, putting this at the end can help ensure the signal arrives strong and clear.
That's a nice bonus for clean installs, getting cables hidden away.
Okay.
Okay, and quick specs check. Audio. It handles the good stuff.
Yep, DTS HD, Dolby True HD, the lossless formats. And importantly, it has a dedicated audio chipset that helps prevent that annoying lip sync issue where the audio and video drift apart.
Oh, that's crucial. And compatibility-wise, it works with typical modern sources like 4K streaming boxes, satellite receivers.
Yeah, it lists things like the 4K Roku 4K DirecTV Genie, Sony UHD players, Amazon Fire TV 4K players. Basically, standard stuff should be fine. Okay.
And one last feature, CEC, Consumer Electronics Control.
Right. It supports CEC, but only on output 1. That's the feature that lets you potentially control multiple devices, TV, receiver, player with just one remote, if all the devices play nicely together, that is.
Okay, so wrapping this up. For you, the listener, this WolfPack splitter isn't just doubling your HDMI output. It's really acting like a system manager.
Yeah, it provides the necessary bandwidth for true 4K at 60 Hz, and crucially, that robust EDID control to tame those multi-display setup gremlins. It can save you a lot of weekend troubleshooting time.
Definitely seems like a problem solver. But let's leave you with a final thought, circling back to that CEC feature.
Ah, yes, the promise and the peril of CEC.
Right. Using one remote sounds fantastic, simple. But here's the catch. Every manufacturer calls CEC something different. Samsung has AnyNet plus LG has Simple Link, Sony has Bravia Sync, and so on.
And the real kicker is they don't always talk to each other perfectly. You might find your Sony player won't fully control your LG TV via CEC, or certain functions just don't work across brands.
Exactly. So while this splitter passes CEC through output 1, actually getting that seamless one remote control across a mixed brand system, that often requires checking the fine print for your specific gear, and sometimes, well, it just doesn't quite work as advertised. That's the next layer of complexity to watch out for.
A very important nuance. Compatibility isn't just about the signal, it's about control too.